Hey guys, this is Dan L from Hidden Bigfoot Research Labs, and today I have a 2000 Toyota Tundra, and it's the sr5 standard cab automatic, and the alternator needs replaced. The blocking diode went out in it. I'll show you all how to do that in a second. And see, it's got the 4.7 in it, and then we got to disconnect this hose just so we can get the alternator out. And the alternator is right there. That one's the alternator. And then there's one bolt on the bottom, one bolt on the top, the power terminal, and the plug. And it's sitting in there, I believe it's sitting in there kind of like that. So one bolt's on there and then down. And I could do it just about by feel. But I'm going to start pulling stuff off. Alright, I got the breather set off over the way. It's getting a little dark, so I may have to finish this up tomorrow so y'all can see. You see this pulley right here? It's the idle pulley. And if you look right here on the sticker, you can see it's got a left-hand screw. If you turn it right, like you normally would, it'll remove the bolt, so don't do that. But if you turn it left, see, it moves down, and then the belt can come right off. I need two hands. I can't do this by myself. You want to start this job by unhooking the power battery just to remove any sort of circuit problems from the vehicle. Now you won't short anything out because you will have to touch a live terminal, and it won't shock you, but it could shock the car or burn you as it shocked something else. And see, and then we can loop it off of this pulley right here, and then just kind of ease it out of the way because we don't want to lose the pattern. And then I'm just going to unhook it off the alternator. Alright, if you step around to the side here, you can actually see the back of the alternator. It's right there. See, there's the terminal. The plug is just right above it. See, okay, there's the terminal, and then there's the plug. I'm going to reach down and take them out. So there's essentially one bolt on the top, one bolt on the bottom, the power bolt, and then the clip. And then it'll just swing on out. Alright, I'm back over here at the Toyota Tundra. And now guys, it turned out I couldn't get enough leverage on the bottom bolt to get the alternator off. So I ended up taking this, whatever they call this, I can't think of it. I will edit that in. But it was only just a handful of bolts just around the edges. And then take that off. And then now the alternator will just drop right out the bottom right here. And since the bolt is so seized up, I'm letting it soak in some oil for a minute, and I'll pull that out in just a second. And then I can disconnect everything, and since I got the... What's that panel called? I cannot remember for the life of me. The damn skid plate, of course. Okay. The skid plate is what I couldn't remember, but yeah. So once the skid plate's out, that'll just drop right out, somewhere right around here probably. But I can't hold it, or I can't record and work, so I'll just show you when I get it out. I'm underneath of it now. I got the bottom one out. I've got the wire nut unhooked, and now the clip unhooked. Well, I just realized it looks like you've got to pull the power steering pump, and we're not actually going to pull it. We're just going to loosen it so that it'll swing out of the way, because the alternator won't come out because of the pulley in the way. And that's a pain, but not a huge pain. But yeah, we just need to make enough room for that to come out. It's not like we're gonna unhook any of the lines. We're just kind of gonna swing it just a little bit because the housing is hitting it. Alright, I found the bolts that hold the pump on. It's this one. There's one more on the bottom, and then there's one right there that's just a nut, and then this will slide out of the way. Yes. Alright, I was able to slide the power steering pump forwards, and now I believe I can shimmy it right out the bottom here. Okay, yeah, I did get it twisted around and to come out just like that. Okay, it's out. Alright, well, I'm back out here again. I'm going to finish this up today, now that we got the alternator off. And I wanted to show y'all how to test continuity on these. And this dango alternator here, when I tested it on the vehicle, the diode was not working. But yesterday, whenever I tested it without it, we're on camera. When I tested it with it off the vehicle, it worked. But we're going to go ahead and replace it anyways. We got the new parts. And I mean, I tested it and I for sure know that it was getting continuity both ways. Because to test continuity, okay, I'm set on where if it's continuity, it beeps at a point or it'll tell me the measurements. And if I put the hot onto the body and then I check the terminal here, it may not beep, but you can see we have continuity. And then if I do it the other way, nothing. And when I did that with it on the vehicle, there was no, or it was getting it both ways. I mean, no matter which way I touched it, it was getting continuity. And that is not good. But since I've got it off, I've not been able to get it to do it again. And electronics, that when they start going bad, if you jar them real hard, sometimes they can come back. And like I'm looking in the terminal and I even see like corrosion and like looking inside of it, it looks like it's been hot. So probably a bearing going bad. So yeah, we're still going to put this one on. And I even went to the battery. Let's see. There. And I did this off camera, but we tested the voltage beforehand and it was like right at 12 exactly, like 1201. And then we hooked the key up, or we hooked the battery up. We ain't started it because the belt's not on, nothing's on, and we did tape off the wire down there that goes to the alternator. And it's been sitting here for 3 days and it's not lost barely any juice. I mean, the sensors will use a little bit of juice and a battery sitting will lose a tiny bit, but we didn't lose our juice through the night. So I do believe that alternator diode was kicking in and out. He said sometimes it wouldn't lose it and sometimes it would. So I really think that diode, one of them's went bad or one of them's going bad. But alright, so now to get this back in, we're going to push it up back through the same hole, which I'm not going to be able to film and do. I know I'm not. And just kind of feed it up and make sure you insert it the right direction. Look at the terminal and make sure where you need it to go. Slide the power steering pump back out. There. And see, now it's stabbed. And what I had to do was I had to slide this forwards, and there's a bolt that you just hang it back on. Same bolt you took it off. And now I gotta just put my stud back in, connect the wires, and put the nut on. Connect the power steering pump back up, which is just put the bolts back in and tighten it. Put the belt on, put the skid plate on, and then we are done. So I'm just gonna stop recording and I'll just show you as I go. But I gotta get that bolt in. Right there, you can see that it's easy to line up. Alright, And I got the nut on, the bolt on the top one, and then there's a bolt in the bottom, and I can't reach with the camera, but it's just right there, right where my finger is. It's right there where you can't see it. I mean, it's not hard to find. And to tighten them, just like you had to loosen them, there's holes in the power steering pump. You just turn it till you can get your socket through. But now I'm going to tighten these up and then tighten up the alternator and make sure it's plugged in. We got the nut tightened, we've got the bolt tightened, we've got, I don't know if I can see it, but we got the wire tightened, we got the clip installed, we have the power steering pump connected. Now we just got to put the belt back on and then put the breather back together. And since we loosened, since I loosened those bolts, I need to make sure I know I tightened them back up, but I need to tighten them back up and clip that. And again, those were not the correct bolts. It was the ones, that was the bolts to the bracket, not the power steering pump. You want to remove the power steering pump from the bracket, not the other way around like I was doing. So yeah, this wasn't that bad of a job once I figured out how to do it. And I probably could have still done it from the top if I could have got enough leverage. But now, I mean, once I pulled off the skid plate, yeah, it came right out of the way. And that's not a bad way to go. But alright, let me get the belt back on. And the belt, see, here's the picture right there. I just got to make it look like that. Left most of it, but I did have to move it out of my way. And see, I look over at it. Okay, got all the belt. I got the belt tightened. I got the panel clipped. I still got to put on the metal cover, but I've got the intake tightened. Check your vacuum lines back here. Make sure everything's still good from flopping around. Everything's still connected. And then it starts just fine. And no check engine, no battery, no nothing. So good. Good. Okay, we got the negative pin put in. Positive. And good, we're putting out 14 volts. And I can't reach it. Put that there. Yeah, good. And then I'm going to rev it up just a little bit. Good. And see, it never stopped putting out more than it should. It did shut off, because you don't want an alternator putting out too much juice either. That's just as bad. It can burn up the battery. And now I just got to put that on, and I'm not going to record it. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. And please subscribe for more videos like this. And currently I'm doing a bunch of videos on this Geo Metro reverse trike. Check it out in my videos. It's awesome, it's fun, it's crazy and weird, and everyone loves it. And see, and I've got and it's street legal also. I drive this on the road and the cops just scratch their head and love it. I mean, because it is fully licensed. But alright guys, thank you. Laters.